to another video. So the last video, obviously we touched base with a little bit more of a complex structure. Now I had a few comments, some really nice engagement, so thank you for that. Again, please leave all the questions, comments, or get in touch with me via my website or via email. Had a few messages on LinkedIn, had a few messages on Instagram, XYZ. So feel free to always reach out to me. I'm always there. I spend most of my days, onboarding a lot of high-risk banking applications, XYZs, and obviously dealing with a lot of client relationships, XYZ. So I'm always behind my computer generally. If not, I'm walking my dog or something like that, or traveling. So we had a comment last time asking for a much more simple structure. Now in future videos, I will look at structures as UK tax residents, Dutch residents, XYZ, as I can see a lot of engagement coming from those particular areas. And again, it would be more incentivized to have a more optimized structure while living in a high tax area, but that's a different story. We have to explain that in more depth. But this one is focused on a small business, such as a Hong Kong company, which is one of my favorite actual company formations to actually go into, because it is fucking great, okay? So offering complete ownership to foreigners is firstly the main positive one. Profit taxes actually range from 8% to 16.5%. So we do nearly not trigger the CFC rules. Now I'll touch that in a different point and a different video as well in much more greater depth. So foreign sourced income is exempt from corporation income tax, okay? So as long as the money is coming from outside of Hong Kong, it's a territorial corporation tax system. It is going to be a offshore tax-free company, which is fantastic. There's no VAT, no sales tax, no import capital gains or dividends or interest, XYZ, fantastic stuff there. Why it is one of my favorites. There's also no withholding tax on dividend distributions, interest payments made out to a resident or non-resident. It's got great links into China and Asian markets, and it's the third easiest country to do business with in 2020 by the World Bank. So this setup is for a simple e-com business, okay, with no structure, a simple business where you're not really too asset protected. There could be direct lawsuits that go to this company. Obviously, you could create an additional kind of structure that could then protect this by having a holding company, for example, in Hong Kong again, or maybe Hong Kong holding company. So that would be a simple structure about how you could then do that and make it a little bit more asset protected. Obviously double the costs of this, but Hong Kong is a very, very cheap solution, if you want the truth. Very, very cheap solution moving forward. But that would be more asset protected. Again, regarding CFC rules, if you weren't linked with them, if you live in a jurisdiction such as Serbia, Montenegro, Georgia, Dubai, Paraguay, anywhere in the actual UAE, for example, then obviously CFC rules aren't an issue to you. Then you could have a holding company in the BVI, super cheap solution. It's like $1,000. Hong Kong company is like $1,000 again. Yearly maintenance about $750. Very cheap, very good solution. Again, we do all the banks for you. Most people would go ahead and see some website online, go ahead and buy one of these companies with not much knowledge, even about CFC rules, economic substance, XYZ, and they would go ahead and buy one, and then they would be referred to a bank such as Strays or something like that, some shitty EMI. I do love EMIs, but there's a lot of poor EMIs out there. And they would go ahead and do that, and then they would be unable to open up that bank account. They'd be rejected. There's no trading history. Your website potentially looks fake, XYZ. Then this is what happens. So we do help with those banking applications. We can get you bank accounts in London, in Luxembourg, as long as you meet those compliance rules. So this is for an e-commerce business. It's very simple. You have a Hong Kong company, a bank, and a payment processor. Now, the additional things why you would have a holding company in, for example, BVI is because there's no accounting requirements, which is much easier. As in Hong Kong, there is two things that you need to do. If I just put this on here. Number one is accounting, and the other one is auditing. So obviously Hong Kong is a much more well-respected place, and that is why to actually be there as well. For example, if you send an invoice from Hong Kong to a British company, there's a lot of trust there, same as a Singapore company. If you're sending an invoice from a BVI company, if this gets changed to, let's say, maybe Russell Cayman, but let's say Cayman Islands, there is less trust there. When we see a Cayman Islands invoice, there's questions there. Why are you in the Cayman Islands? What business do you do? Are you legit? XYZ. So there's some scrutiny which can happen from there. So that's why we recommend Hong Kong. Hong Kong is a fantastic place of business. Actually, currently the #1 most expensive place in the world to live, I believe. I've lived there a short while myself, and it is bloody expensive. So good businesses, good business models for using this type of structure here. This is generally for asset protection up here, so you can move the funds up and away from the operational company into the holding company. Now, good business structures, business plans to actually have as the Hong Kong operational company would be e-commerce, healthcare, cosmetics and personal care, tech, retail, travel and hospitality, trading as well would be a good place to do that, very friendly in regards to retail trading, XYZ, education, and finance as well. Obviously finance, there's a little bit more regulation to go under. However, it is very easy, especially when you work with us at Forward Point Solutions, to get that business operational, to get that bank live, to get that payment processor going, and it does become very easy. Now, what is great as well, they are very flexible in regards to, you could start with a simple structure and then build into the previous structures, which I mentioned in the previous video, where it gets a little bit more advanced, where we have some trust involved, where we split up the actual businesses and passive incomes to actually focus on those asset protections for the future. So this is a very simple setup. A few of you wanted it, then here you go. That is a simple Hong Kong company with a holding company for asset protection. You could start off just as the Hong Kong, no asset protection. As you grow the business, you can then move into adding a holding company, changing the ownership structure of the Hong Kong company at some small fees. It will just cost a few $100s to go ahead and do that. Now, something you do want to keep in mind is a big word called, if I just write it on here, CFC rules. And CFC rules is controlled foreign company rules. Now, what you want to be careful of is economic substance. You can go ahead and search this up on Google. A few comments are saying I'm young or something like this. On the previous video, yes, I am young. I'm in my mid-20s. But I can tell you my shareholders, if you go ahead and look on LinkedIn, you go ahead and do some actual in-depth stuff, research on Forward Point Solutions. My shareholders are in Belgium, in the United States. Gabriel actually owns his own fund and is regulated in the United States for asset management. He's in his mid-40s, 50s maybe now, I think end of his 40s. Giuseppe, who is a well-known entrepreneur who is based in Italy, but he's currently living in Spain right now. I think he's very experienced in this world as well. So we do have a lot of experience between us. I've worked myself for multiple companies, as you can see on LinkedIn, within this space. So that's how I kind of grasp my knowledge within banking, within offshore structures. And I kind of just saw a lot of clients and what they're doing, spoke to a few lawyers. My sister is even a lawyer in London and deals with very complex situations for clients. And this is where the experience kind of comes from. And when you're dealing with clients every single day, you're researching it every single day, you can kind of get a great picture to what's going on. So although these videos are for educational purposes only, we can connect you with those parties that can legally advise you, as we do work with a lot of law firms, especially based in Lithuania, London, again, the Netherlands too, we do a lot of business with. So moving forward, that is my kind of credentials, my credibility. Again, we're a business that's been trading for over a year now, with over 80 clients as well. And I think every single one of them is happy at the service which has been given. But this is a simple structure right there. CFC rules, economic substance. Basically, if, let's say you're a UK tax resident and you have a company just in BVI, you will probably have to pay UK tax on that. HMRC will not be happy because of CFC rules and because there is no economic substance there. You are making your business choices from the UK. So how can you get around this? Firstly, let's say you have a company in Hong Kong, okay? It's probably not going to trigger the CFC rules, but it can do because of obviously the exemption on foreign income tax. Once the UK realizes HMRC, you declare that you have a company there, they might investigate you for this. Now, when they investigate you for this, you will need to have economic substance based in Hong Kong, meaning, or British Virgin Islands, meaning you have an office there, you're employing staff there, you're having meetings there, you're traveling there, and you're proving that you have economic substance, you're making economic choices from where that company is located. That is very key in this offshore world. I'm going to touch base on it a lot. You're going to hear it a lot. It's incredibly boring, but it's what needs to be done if you want to create these types of structures without involving further complexities and further costs, such as trusts, foundations, X, Y, Z. So over on that, guys, I will leave you to it. I'm going to touch base on this in another video in depth because I think it is fantastic that you do understand this, as it is very key when dealing with finances that you get things right, okay? So I'll see you in the next one. Hope this helped. Hope this answered that comment of asking for a more simple structure. And again, feel free to just message me, book a call with me, and we'll jump on and we'll chat about your situation and we'll see how we can help you moving forward to grow your business.